Hello, everybody. Welcome to my weird, wonderful world. And as you know, of course, Tool is my favorite band. And thus, I made a playlist. Now, they're in order right now. It's my first playlist I've made on Spotify. I will leave the link to that Spotify playlist down, pinned down to the comments below so you check it out. But these are the 12 songs. There's 12 songs here that I consider to be the deepest, most, not necessarily most interesting, but the most important songs in my history with Tool, right from the beginning. And of course, the top of the list at number one has to be The Grudge. And this kind of was inspired by yesterday's video of me talking in the park about forgiveness and about, trying to overcome the hangups that you have in life and all that stuff. But I consider these songs, I'm not going to go too deep into the lyrical content, maybe for the first five, the top five. But as you can see, okay, it starts with The Grudge, Intolerance, Reflection, Lateralis, Hush, Schism, right into The Patient, Pneuma, Parabola, Parabola. I consider that all one song. I wish I would have been able to put that as one track, but it's fine. And then 4 Degrees. It's a pretty long play. This is a good hour, almost a good hour and a half, 12 songs. But these songs, for me, I consider them a spirit, not just a spiritual journey, but like a life changing journey. That there's so many morals and so many, you know, for me, it's also a code of conduct. Is when I say Tool is okay, and I mean this in the broadest spectrum, okay, of it's my religion. Okay, I take the lyrics very seriously. Maynard's a genius. Maynard is a deep, deep guy with all that he's involved with and everything. I consider, like I've said this before, I consider him my favorite a hole. Absolutely, he's my favorite a hole on the planet. And his lyrical genius, especially with these Tool songs, The Grudge, all about forgiveness, all about why you need to forgive. It's not about the person that you forgive. It's about releasing that your own grudge, your own vengeful, de- ugly, deceitful, sabotaging ways. And so I think that's a really important one that people should get into their psyche because it's important. Intolerance, like where I got into my psyche and my personal well-being of not lying, cheating, or stealing. It's because of this song that I don't do that. You because they lie, cheat, and steal, and yet we tolerate it. We tolerate it. We let this go on. You know, watching police audit videos. How often are cops are trained and allowed to lie to you? The moment you try to lie to them, oh, you're obstructing, you're this and you're that, and and but intolerance. Just it's about getting along. It's about coming to an acceptance that our our horrible ways that when we lie, cheat, and steal, they are probably the lowest value human trait that we have. Like it's I don't like I don't like when people lie, cheat, or steal. Absolutely not. Reflection. It's about accepting the oneness. In this reflection kind of also goes into the last four songs of like Numa, Parabola, and even 4 Degrees. It's about finding your inner being, your sense of self, your sense of peace, of mind, of being at one with yourself, accepting who you are wholly and deeply, and also realizing at the same time that we are all one, that we are all connected in a major and important way. So again, that's why reflection. And then lateralis, which also kind of goes with reflection, is about accepting other possibilities. It's just not being single-minded, um, narrow-minded. Just being able to open your mind up to other possibilities that you may not consider possible, just because nothing is certain. How am I going to go with this? It's about, yeah, it's just about, yeah, when you listen to Lateralis, that's what I get from it the most, is to opening your mind to other possibilities, to embracing whatever may come, as the line goes, embracing whatever may come. And because whatever life gives you, good or bad, is like some of the worst times in my life was very, very valuable lessons that you need to pay attention to and listen to. Sometimes, I can get too, like, especially lately with my work and doing YouTube videos and trying to live a normal balanced life. My focus can sometimes get a little narrow minded, not to the extent that I'm not going to consider other possibilities, but just that when it comes to memory and trying to remember to do this and do that, and there's a lot going on, but I'm trying to find my center, to really kind of focus in on you know being here and now, living in the moment, which is also another message in most of these songs, like with reflection and lateralis and parabola. As you can see, most of the songs on there, of course, is from Lateralis, my favorite album of all time. The Grudge, Reflection, Lateralis, the title track, Schism. Okay, let's get to Schism for a second. Schism is about finding finding the necessity to communicate. That's what brings us together. That we need to communicate, to put the pieces together, to make those connections. When the whole puzzle analogy of making the pieces fit is connecting, is the making connections. Again, a very common theme in Tool's repertoire is making connections. Hush, Hush should be self-explanatory, because Hush is about coming. It's about censorship, and not allowing yourself to be censored. Now, if you are a constitutionalist like I am, and like the First Amendment of the United States, and very much the same as our our fundamental freedoms, okay, section in the Constitution of Canada, Section 2B, freedom of thought, belief, opinion, and expression, including freedom of the press and other media of communication. Communication. It's all about communication, that, and about expressing your ideas, your opinion, your free thoughts about whatever. It doesn't matter what. We have the right to express ourselves. And who are they? Who are they to censor us? To censor, and for what purpose? For their own righteous, no, we have a constitution in the United States, in Canada, that we are allowed to express ourselves and our ideas. And of course, I'm always going to try to express the most positive, the most progressive, the most here and now ideas possible. And that's what I love about music. Music is, not only is it timeless, but it can be very politically poignant. It can be very philosophically poignant. It can be very, very spiritually poignant. It's so many things. It is the true multidimensionality of our human existence, and I think music represents that. It's everything. There's everything in it, and it has everything to offer. It even good or bad. There are songs that can influence other type of behavior and certain, but in the most part, the music I gravitate to mostly, okay, and I have albums that have some negative connotation to it. There's songs with lyrics in it that are very like today would not fly and causes controversy. For example, just one random example that comes to mind is Guns N' Roses "One in a Million" with all that kind of what he's talking about. I'm not going to go into that, but what he's talking about in that track, you know, it's it's a point of view, and if people are taking a wrong, yeah, I know what he says. I know it sounds the way it sounds, but he's not necessarily talking in that term. Okay, he's not really going where you think he's going in the song. Really giving an intense listen to and examine those lyrics properly, and you see that it's not as he's not attacking them as it sounds like he is. Okay, that's just my point of view on that. Again, my point of view, my opinion. You interpret it however you want. And again, that's the beauty and the freedom of music. You can interpret it however you want. It doesn't matter. And there's also right into, and that's basically how us as humans, fighting for land, fighting for property, fighting for our individuality, we have a tendency to split things apart, to separate, and that's what that song's all about for me. It's about realizing that we are higher beings, okay, that is suppressing our own enlightenment through all this physical gain. I mean, yes, I love having the physical media of my artist, but that's for so many reasons. That's not just for like material possession. That's just for having a hard copy that you know, unfortunately, people like Spotify can't exploit. They can't change it on me. I'm not renting it. I'm owning it. I'm only using Spotify at the moment just to share this with you. That's it. And that's why this is probably one of my only playlists I'm going to have on Spotify. It's for public consumption too. So yeah, that I guess that's pretty much the the patient pretty should be pretty explanatory. It's a song about being patient, of course, what it means to be patient. And just give this playlist a listen, pay attention to the lyrics, and I tell you, these are the deepest, most important songs in Tool's repertoire. So okay, I think I've babbled enough about this, but I thought this was a good, important, important subject, especially after yesterday's episode. And again, I just want to reiterate I have nothing against anyone. I'm always trying to look for a peaceful, more diplomatic relationships with my so-called enemies, and I'm not an enemy of them. They are an enemy of me. They're the ones that want to keep antagonizing. So it's like, and I forgive them. I forgive them for the transgressions because I can't I don't know how they grew up. I don't know how they lived. I can't judge, you know, I can't judge them without knowing the complete story, and I can't ever get that because there's no, because they don't want to communicate that. They just want to do their base bottom, behavior, and that's what I have to accept and deal with. But okay, I've made my peace with that. Again, everything is always forgiven, and I'm throwing out the olive branch and saying, look, I'm looking for peace. I don't know why you keep hanging on to number one here, the grudge. So just let go, let go, let go, let go, let go, let go. Listen to the song. Tell me if that is not about releasing your grudge, releasing the negative. Yeah. Okay. I'm done. I'm done. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do because I will love you forever and greatly appreciate it. Do not be afraid of that like button. I don't know why so many people are afraid of that like button. Like, why is it so scary to you? Just hit it. Help us out. There's nothing stopping you from doing that. Leave comments because I love comments. I tried to get to everybody's comments in a speedy fashion. I might not get to it right away sometimes because I'm busy doing other stuff, but the first opportunity I get to the comments, I will respond as much as possible. And yeah, and that's it. I guess have a great day, morning, evening, night. I'm doing this backwards. And take care. Be safe. I will see you on the flip side. And please listen to this playlist. Let me know what you think of it. And everybody, okay, peace, everybody. Bye.